Well, first of all, Toni, thank you so much for letting me call you Toni, and second, sharing with everyone. As you were speaking, a couple of things kind of went to my head, and you said this other thing earlier about, can I just be real? So I have a real question for you that is near and dear in my heart right now, that I've sort of been struggling with or questioning. It seems to me like when I'm trying to formulate this so it's not so convoluted, but like I hear from a lot of people that when they struggle with their identity as an artist, their faith usually helps them get back on track. But I've been struggling and thinking a lot about the flip-flop of that, where you struggle with your faith and you struggle with your relationship with God, and you struggle with these other things that all come from your entire being of being faithful. And when that sort of gets off kiltered or sort of off track, and it's okay if it hasn't happened to you, but if it ever has, was your art or your identity as an artist ever able to help you answer the question or sort the problem out or get back on track? And if there was, if you could tell us a little bit about that. And if not, that's fine too.
That is an amazing question. I'm trying to think. There have been so many times when my faith has literally been rocked. And I'll tell you, I'll go a little deeper into when my father passed away. This happened at a very tender time in my life. And I have shared this on YouTube. It's been documented, so I have no qualms with sharing with you all here. When my father passed away, my dad was my dad was an artist too when he was young, when we were younger. And so my dad used to draw. When he worked for Brachs Candy Company, he would come home and he would draw. And so he was the very first artist that I knew, right? When my dad passed away, not only did I go through grief, about 5 days after I went to the funeral, I was in the hospital. And I was there for psychosis, I was there for depression, and I was there for major anxiety. Now, should I have been into the hospital at that point? Who knows? No one, I'm not going to question that. God decided that I would be in the hospital. And I remember having such a crisis, like, Lord, I cannot believe I'm here. Not only can I not believe I'm here, I'm with all these crazy people. But no, seriously, many times you don't realize what's going on in your life, and God will allow you to be there. He will allow you to have compassion, to have empathy, to be able to experience something that will forever rock you and change you. But one thing about it, you will be able to connect with almost anybody because you've gone through that. I will never forget, I was there from about January 10th or so until Lincoln's birthday. That will tell you how long I was in the hospital. The reason why I was in the hospital for so long is because our insurance had challenges. Our insurance had lapsed. And so I was moved from a very nice, posh, premium location hospital for mental health into one of the worst facilities in the county because I didn't have insurance. And even now, my heart's still tender. It's tender because I know many other people have gone through things like that. What did I have? Who did I have? I was there until the doctor said I could leave. And at that time, they were trying to figure out, well, what's going on with her? Why is she here? Should she be here? Things like that. I never forget a social worker. I always believe God has a time and place and people that you're meant to meet.
Right.
A social worker was talking to me and discovered I was an artist. This is in 2014. I mean, I had started on my journey as an artist. already. And so he was like, "You doing what?" I told some of the things I was doing at home, and some of the exhibits I had. And he said, "Well, let me get you a sketchbook." Thank you. And the next day he brought me a big, huge sketchbook. I began to draw with that ballpoint pen. I had a red one and a black one. That's all I had. And I recall almost drawing my way out of that place. I'll never forget when it was 2 days before Lincoln's birthday, President's Day, 2 days before. And another social worker came to me and she says, "You know what? A little bird told me that if we tried today, we could probably get you out of here, because what's going to happen is that the county's going to shut down for the holiday. Yes. And you won't get out until after the holiday." And I was like, "Well, what do you have in mind?" She said, "Well, hold on 1 second. Just hold on. Why don't you start gathering your things and let me work on this for you?" And just like that, I was released. I don't know why. I mean, come on, Dan. I'm trying to answer your question. I have no clue as to why it happened the way it did. But I know now I have a testimony of God's goodness, God's grace, God's recognition. I don't care what happens to me on a personal level. You can never take what God has given me away. And that has been my anchor, So a roundabout way, I hope that answers part of your question.
It does. Thank you so much. And thanks so much for being so open. Appreciate it.
Sure.